Welcome back, everybody. This is Pundit's Playbook. I'm Marty. This is Season 2, Episode 4, the finale. And we're going to end with the NFC and AFC East. So we're going to start with the Commanders, okay? The Commanders went 4-13 last year, had a horrible season. This year you can get them at plus 1,100 to win this division, and they're projected at 6.5 wins. So let's start with some positives now. They have a new head coach. The head coach, Dan Quinn, he comes from being the Dallas DC, and with Dallas, he was really good defensively, so I like that as well, increase their defense this year. And the biggest thing for them is they drafted Jayden Daniels second overall. And I like Jayden Daniels because he's a mobile QB. Why do I like that? The best play in football are QB scrambles. QB scrambles are positive 0.27 EPA. A running back run, to put in perspective, is negative 0.10 EPA. And then a quarterback pass is positive 0.03 EPA. So 0.03 EPA for passing the ball for a quarterback, but when a quarterback runs, it goes all the way to 0.27 EPA, which is insane. So quarterback runs are the best play in football. But now for some negatives with this team. I don't think they have much talent on this team. Okay, their defense was horrible last year. They ranked 30th or worse in almost all defensive categories. Maybe Dan Quinn coming here can help that out, but I don't know how big that's going to jump, so I think their defense is still going to be iffy. Their O-line. O-line's worse in the league, 32nd. That is not good for Jayden Daniels, especially a rookie quarterback. They struggle under pressure, so that's something to monitor there as well. And they faced the second highest rate of pressure without a blitz last season, so this O-line is horrible. Overall, I'm not really expecting too much out of this team with the rookie quarterback, but, Jayden Daniels, I hope he does well this year. So now, let's go to the Giants. So the Giants last year, they came in third place. They went 6-11. You can get them now at plus 1,600, the worst odds for this division, and they're projected at 6.5 wins. So let's talk about where the Giants need to improve this season. So the first one, early scoring. They ranked 32nd in first quarter and first half scoring. They were always behind. They need to score early and often this year. Second one, third downs. They were horrible on third downs. They ranked 30th in conversion rate. The third one, the red zone. They were 30th in success rate, horrible in the red zone there. The fourth one, QB protection. They were minus 51 in the sacks department. Daniel Jones was running for his life last year and all the backups as well. And then the last one they need to improve on, explosive plays. They need to get the ball downfield, have big plays, which I think they can. They drafted a rookie receiver this year, Malik Neighbors. I really like him, and I think he can help them out. It's finally their best receiver they've ever had. They've had horrible receivers throughout the past, so I think he could do really well with Daniel Jones this year. They added players through free agency to help their O-line out this year, which is a big thing they needed to address, which I like. Their D-line is actually really good, 5th best in the NFL this year. So if they can get pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, I think that can help them out a lot as well. And then last year, they struggled with a lot of injuries. So maybe the injury luck will be in their favor this year, and they won't get as much injured. So that's another positive I like there. But now to talk about the negatives. Daniel Jones is coming off an ACL tear. Will he be able to run the ball? Because he's a good runner. If he can't, he's going to be very bad this year, and this Giants team won't be that good. He also struggled to pass the ball last year. I don't know if that had to deal with his receivers and stuff. Maybe Malik Neighbors can help him out a lot in that department. So that's a big question mark right there, Daniel Jones. Their O-line, even though they added some pieces, their O-line is still ranked 27th in this league. They really need to protect Daniel Jones if they want to be successful this year. Daniel Jones, he has struggled with sacks. So sacks kills drives. And if he keeps on getting sack, this team is going to be very bad. So that's a big thing they need to address. But overall, this Giants team, no one's really expecting much out of them, so I think they could surprise some people. I'm not sure. Now we're going to move into the Eagles. So the Eagles choked last year. They had first place, but then they gave it to Dallas. They went 11-6, and they're projected at 10.5 wins. They are the favorites to win this division at minus 140, which is a pretty big price. So Vegas likes them a lot. So now we're going to talk about their negatives and why I think I like this team for this coming season. So the first negative, their defense. They ranked 31st inside the red zone and 30th on third downs. Their pass rush ranked was 23rd. Their defense was very bad last year. So what did they do to address it? They added DBs in the draft. They added some players in the draft, and they said, our defense was not good, so we're going to address the secondary. Another negative, the running game. They were horrible in the running game last year. In 2022, they were number 1 in early down run efficiency. Last season, they went all the way to 18th. So what did they do? They got Saquon Barkley in free agency. I think that will help a lot as well. Another big negative is they lost Jason Kelce. He was very big for them for the push-tush. Will this new center be just as well? I'm not sure, so that's another question mark right there. But now to move into some positives. Okay, their schedule, they have an easy schedule, 8th easiest in the NFL. Their net rest edge, they have the second best rest this season, which I love as well. They only play one game with a rest disadvantage, which is the best in the NFL, which is awesome for them. Their O-line and D-line are amazing. Their O-line second best in the league, D-line 8th, so I really love that right there. I think this Eagles team can do well again, and I think they can make a playoff push if Jalen Hurts stays healthy, because that offense is really good. But now let's move to Dallas. So Dallas stole this division last year from Philly. They finished 12-5. This year you can get them at plus 175 to win this division, and they're projected at 9.5 wins. So let's talk about the negatives first with this team. So when they led at half, they were 11-1. When they weren't leading at half, they were 1-4. So that showed me that they can't come back when they're down at halftime. How will the run game look this year? They lost Tony Pollard. They have Zeke this year and then Rico Dowdle or whatever. So I'm not sure if those two can really help this run game out. So that's another big question mark right there. Their defense. Defense is much cheaper this year. They ranked 27th in defensive spending this season. So that's another big question mark. And then the past 3 years, they've had a plus 10 or better turnover margin. They've been great on defense. What if they don't get this turnover margin anymore? Are they going to be able to win? I'm not sure right there. So the last 3 seasons, they are 25-4 versus non-playoff teams. But when they play playoff teams, they are 12-14. Okay, so that's big right there. They beat the bad teams but lose to the good teams. To talk about some positives, okay. Dallas, they made in-season changes last year and went from the 28th in the red zone to the 5th. So I'm not a fan of Mike McCarthy, but him being able to do that and make them much better in the red zone, I like how he changed things. So there's a plus for him right there. Their O-line and D-line, similar to the Eagles, are really good. O-line is 6th best and D-line is 4th best. They have a good offense. I'm expecting CD to sign pretty soon. So with him and with Dak, I think they could do some damage in this league. But now let's move into my predictions for this division. So coming in fourth, I'm going to have Washington. So rookie quarterback, the O-line is kind of iffy. Defense is kind of iffy. Not expecting too much out of them. Coming in third, I have the Giants. I like Malik Neighbors. Maybe Daniel Jones can step up the season. They have good coaching with Dable, so I kind of like them at 3 and 4, but those two are interchangeable. Coming in second, I am having Dallas. I just think Philly is much better than Dallas this season, and I think they just have them beat everywhere, so I kind of like Philly to take this division. And now we're going to hit the AFC East right now. So coming in fourth place last year are the Patriots. They went 4-13. You can get them at plus 2,400 to win this division, and they're projected at 4.5 wins. So to talk about the negatives, they didn't use enough play action last year. They only used it on 27% of the time, and they were much better with play action. They have new coaching this year, so maybe that will change. They ran 54% of the time on 2nd and 10. I hate that. Second and long runs are absolutely horrible. Those runs right there only average 2.8 yards per carry. So the most times they were going 3rd and 7, and good teams avoid 3rd down. They have the second hardest schedule this year, so that's another huge negative for them. They're facing a lot of tough teams. Their wide receivers lack talent. They're not really deep there. They don't have any superstars or anything like that. And their O-line is the second worst in this league, so I'm not really expecting too much. To talk about the positive, they drafted Drake May. He might be their franchise quarterback. I hope he does well. They also drafted Jalen Polk. I hope he is a good receiver for them because they need some talent there. Like I said, new coach, new OC, new DC, everything new. So I'm not expecting much out of the Pats this year, but hopefully they can do something decent this season. Now we're going to move into the Jets. So the Jets came in third last year, 7-10. However, they are the favorite to win this division at plus 155, projected at 9.5 wins. And we're going to talk about the positives first. Zach Wilson was their quarterback last year. He was 32nd in pass efficiency, 32nd in the red zone, negative 16 sack margin, negative 31 penalty margin. They had a very tough schedule. And what did the Jets do? They ended up winning 7 games. So that was incredible for this team. This team really played hard for them, even with all those negative stats. So I like their talent on this team. Last season, they were able to beat Josh Allen, C.J. Stroud, and Jalen Hurts. This defense was really good last year, and it's going to be good this year as well. They added a few players to their O-line. Their O-line ranked is 9th best in this league, so I love that right there, especially because they've struggled in the past with O-line work. And their D-line is the best in the league at number 1, so O-line, D-line is really good this season. The negatives for this team. Can Rodgers stay healthy? I mean, he tore, his ACL or Achilles or something. Can he be good anymore? Can he return to his MVP form? I'm not sure, so that's a big question mark right there. Mike Williams, they got him in free agency. Can he stay healthy? He's a good receiver, but he's never on the field, so that's another big question mark. So this team this year is all about health. But if they stay healthy, this team can definitely do some damage and make the playoffs. So now we're going to transition into the Dolphins. So the Dolphins came in second last year. They blew it to the Bills this division. They went 11-6. This year you can get them at plus 240 to take this division, and they're projected at 9.5 wins. So let's talk about positives with this team. They rank third in third down avoidance. I love that. When teams avoid third downs, that shows me they're good coaching, good team, so I love that. They fixed their running game. They drafted A-Chain last year, and they did more runs to the outside. The running used to be horrible, but they fixed it last year, so I love that from a coaching point of view. They have really good corners this year. They have Ramsey and Kendall Fuller from Washington, so the secondary is pretty decent there, and they have a lot of talents on offense. You got Tyreek, Waddle, Tua, all the good running backs, so this team's going to be explosive, so I think this team can do damage. But now let's talk about the negatives of this team. Tua. So Tua in the red zone, he struggled bad. He was negative 0.27 EPA, which is 34th best in the league, horrible. 44 success rate in the red zone, which would be the 13th best, which is average, but I expect more out of Tua. The Dolphins average 7.7 yards to go on third downs, which is the 6th worst in the league. I hate teams that average far on third downs because most of the time you're not getting that first down. But they converted at 43%. So they did really well on third downs, but that doesn't translate year over year. So they need to really work on getting third and shorts instead of third and long. Tua was horrible under pressure as well last year. He only completed 40.7% of passes. This was only better than Levis from Tennessee, and Bryce Young. So Tua was horrible on third downs last year and under pressure. And then the O-line rank is 30th best in this league. Their O-line is pretty bad, so I'm not really high on the O-line. And the last 2 seasons, similar to Dallas, they went 17-4 versus non-playoff teams and 3-12 versus playoff teams. So they struggle against good teams. Overall, I think Tua can improve in some areas. If he does, this team can look dangerous for this season. But last but not least, we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills, okay? They went 11-6 last year. You can get them second best at plus 175 to win this division. They are projected at 10.5 or 9.5 wins, depending on which books you look at. So they're very similar to Miami and the Jets. So let's talk about positives for this team. They were super successful last year with 2 tight end sets. Dawson Knox got injured, so that kind of screwed them up a little, but they're really good with 2 tight ends on the field. With 2 tight ends, they are 0.43 EPA, which is insane. With 1 tight end, they are negative 0.01 EPA. So much better with 2 tight ends. Hopefully Knox and Dalton Kincaid can stay healthy for them. They were also much better in the red zone with 2 tight ends as well, so that's another key piece right there. They were much better with play action as well last year. With play action, they were 0.29 EPA. Without it, they were 0.07 EPA. They kind of went away from play action because I think that was due to Knox being injured. So the 2 tight ends are huge for this team, even if you aren't a fan of Knox. And again, they have the best quarterback in this division and possibly top 2, top 3 in this NFL, Josh Allen. He can do incredible things. So hopefully he can stay healthy, and this team is looking very good this season. But now for negatives, okay? They lost Diggs and they lost Davis, all right? For the receivers, they combined for 241 targets last year. The next closest receiver with those targets is Shakir with 45. So they have a lot of empty targets they need to fill this season. Who are they going to go to? Is it going to be Shakir? Is it going to be Samuel? Is it going to be somebody else? I don't know. The rookie Keon Coleman. We'll see. Allen's contract is $30 million this year. Next year it's going to be $61 million. So if Bills want to win, they need to win like now, because once that contract hits, they can't spend on other positions. So Bills really need to win this year. Their dead cap is super high as well. Their dead cap is $61 million, which is the second highest this year. That has to deal a lot with Stephon Diggs. They will play the number 1 toughest schedule of defenses. So that's not looking good for their offense for the Bills. And they have a whole new secondary this year. How will that secondary do? I'm not sure. That's another big question mark there. But overall, I like this Bills team. I think Josh Allen can carry them. So now let's get into my predictions. So obviously coming in last, we have New England. Okay. I'm not expecting much from them. Hopefully Drake May can be decent for this team, but not high on them. Coming in third, I have Miami. I think Miami has a great offense. Defense is all right. O-line is what I worry about, but great talent, and they can definitely finish first in this division if they get hot. So this is a very tough division. Now coming in second, my numbers are telling me, sadly, Buffalo will be coming in second, and coming in first would be the Jets. Jets have everything in their favor. They have great O-line, great D-line. The numbers are telling me everything for the Jets. So I'm going to have to pick Jets first. However, my heart is somewhere else. And my heart is telling me Buffalo wins this year. Buffalo with Josh Allen. He's going to carry this team. He's going to beat the numbers. He's going to beat the Jets. And, I'm very excited for this division because this is a very tight division. But this is all I have for this. Thank you for tuning in. As always, a special thanks to ETR and Sharp Football for all this information. Special thanks to Tank and everyone else for letting me on and stuff. And thank you for watching, and Money Never Sleeps.